Hello everyone, so this is my first video on how I edit my photos. And this is something I've wanted to do for a while, but I've always had an excuse not to do it. So the first photo I'm going to show you is this picture I took of the subject overlooking the chain bridge. And I chose this photo because I didn't think I could save it. If you see the before image, you could see it's a bit underexposed. But I wanted to work on it and see if I could save it anyway. And this is the beauty of working on raw images. You're able to pull out much more information than you would be able to on JPEG pictures. And this right now is the final image when everything is done. I shot this image with a 85mm 1.8 on my Canon 60. It's a full frame camera. And I chose her to be in focus because I wanted the background blur and the bokeh lights, as you can see here. So let's get started. I will reset the image, and as you can see, there's a lot of work to do. First thing I do is go down and click remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. This corrects any lens distortion or vignetting that's created by your lens. And since I shot this for Instagram, you have to crop it for the best aspect ratio for Instagram, which is the 4:5 here. And I cropped it even further actually. So first we'll straighten it out because it's definitely not straight.
One eternity later.
Just a bit further. Maybe that was a bit too much. That looks pretty good. So the next thing I do is adjust the exposure. And as I go through these sliders, I'll do some micro adjustments along the way. So you can just follow through as I go through each one. Bring down the highlights because the bridge is a bit too much. So -40. And you bring up the shadows. You can also, just go all the way to the right or to the left just to see how the image looks. Like this is too much on the shadows, so I'll go to like negative or plus. Let's go to 60. Bring up the texture a bit, say maybe 15, and bring down the clarity. Now, the further you go to the left on the clarity, you can get sort of a glossy image. But that's not something I'm looking for this particular picture, so we'll go to about -19. Dehaze, bring it down a bit. Vibrance, bring it down as well. And bring up the saturation to say 10. Okay, so at the moment it is a bit too blue for me, too cool, so I will bring this up to, let's say 3600. Make it a bit more warm. So now I'll go to the HSL with the blue because I think it's a bit too blue still. I'll bring down the saturation to about, let's go with -35. And I'll bring up the luminance. So with the luminance, the further you go to the right, it brightens up the particular color or darkens it if you go to the left. Here I'll go about 15. I'll bring down the yellow as well. It's good. And the orange. -20 is okay. Okay, so the next thing I do is I'll use the brush tool In the brush tool, there is this option called the auto mask, and this makes your retouching job easier, as it tries to stay within the selected area you're using the brush tool on. With the auto mask selected, you can turn down the feathered slider here, and we will start with the chain bridge. If you press O, you can see exactly where you're painting. As you can see, it's trying to stay within the chain bridge, and that's because of the auto mask. It's not perfect, of course, so you'll have to make some adjustments. We'll just paint over her head, and I'll show you how to make some adjustments there. Okay. I'll just roughly go over it. Okay, I think that's okay for now. Yep. So now we'll zoom in and we'll erase the part that's on her head. If you press the Alt button, and then you can start erasing. Even when you're erasing, the auto mask tool stays within the selected area as well. Okay, zoom back out. And yeah, we'll just go quickly over one more time. And that's good. Press O again. And now we can do the adjustments. Yeah, so now I'll start with the exposure. Increase it just a bit. Bring down the highlights. We just add a little bit more contrast and clarity. If you press this button here, you can see what it was before. Yep, that's okay. Now we'll do a new brush for the subject, and this time we'll zoom in. Auto mask selected. Don't worry about if you go over, we'll adjust that later when we're finished. Okay, almost done. Let's see if I can get a bit more here. Okay. Now we'll do some adjusting. Zoom out again. So right now I just want to see how far I can go. And that's, yeah, 2 is a bit, is way too much. So let's go at 1.3. Give the whites a bit. 15. Turn down the saturation. And adjust the noise. Okay, if you click here, let's see how it all looks like. Yep, okay, that looks good. Now I'll go down to sharpening and noise reduction. And I'll go to about 70. Yes. And I'll use the masking tool. If you hold the Alt button and click the masking slider, you can see everything's white. So wherever there is white, that's where the sharpening will be at. So I think that's okay. And noise reduction, Go to 15. And the color to about 35. And that's looking good. Now we'll go to the tone curve and we'll add in 3 dots here, here, and here. And the goal here is to try to do an S curve. Like if you're looking for the old film look, you can just bring this up. And it has that style there. But that's a bit too much. At least for this image. Okay. There, and bring this up. Not that much. There you can see it's a bit of a S curve. Maybe I'll add another one here. Bring this up a bit more. Yeah, no. That's... Okay, that looks fine. And now we'll go down to vignetting. So in the beginning we took that out because we enabled profile corrections. But I like to add a bit more because I'd like to draw the attention to the center because there's not really anything here. So to add more you have to go all the way down, and that's at post crop vignetting. So let's do -25. Maybe adjust the midpoint. Okay, so now last thing I will do is do one more brush adjustment. This time we won't use the auto mask, so I'll deselect that. I'll add in some feather, turn down the flow to about 60, and I'll brighten up the center because it's a bit dark now and I want people's attention to be drawn in the center. So about here, we'll press O to see where I'm painting. See, the more you click on, the more it gets added in. So press O again, and then let's just adjust the exposure. Say bring this down here. Yep, there you go. So this is the final image. It was actually one of my more popular videos on Instagram. It was shared by IG Hungary on their account. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, there is a link below in the description. If you liked the video, please hit a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and I will try to get out one of these photo edit videos once a week. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you all next time.